With the cost of living, inflation, and needing some spare change for a cheeky pint or ruddy two, not all of us have the necessary funds to splash the cash on all the DLC we would like to.
Ooh, that's bad.
But never fear, as your bearded beer-chugging bro is here to show you how you can still pack your Xbox 360 full of content without spending a single fecking penny.
That's good.
Right, firstly we have Band of Bugs with its DLC Map Pack 2 that adds in 5 new maps for both its solo and its multiplayer offering.
Wow.
Next up we have Castle Crashers. If you don't fancy playing as the red, blue, green or orange knight, but do fancy yourself sporting some pink attire, then the Pink Knight pack is absolutely free, adding in a new character and 5 new weapons.
Oh my.
Once you've conquered your masculinity by donning some pink chainmail, then you'll be suitably prepared to take control of the ostrich chopper in Choplifter HD. This new chopper is a speedy, large capacity beast that'll make the brutally challenging gameplay of Choplifter HD a smidge more easy.
Get to the chopper!
Deadliest Warrior is one of my favourites, so bad it's good, especially when drunk games to grace the 360 arcade, so thankfully you can add in 3 new warriors to the game for no extra fee, and continue the janky, broken mechanics stupidity of this terribly hilarious fun fighter for no extra cost.
Just a flesh wound.
Exit is an incredibly underrated, often forgotten gem that I urge you to download. So if you do take my recommendation into consideration and grab this gem of a game, well then you're in luck, as both of its DLC packs that adds in a ton of new exit-seeking stages to the game are absolutely free.
Let's go!
If for any reason you've kept your Kinect plugged into the goated beast that is your Xbox 360 and purchased Fruit Ninja but are tired of slicing apart one of your 5 a day, well then you can grab yourself the Christmas present pack that adds some festive thin air karate chopping antics to the base game.
Wow.
The classic OG Worms also has some free DLC in the form of 2 sound bank packs that adds more hilarious over-the-top voices to your weaponized Wrigley critters. And also while you're at it, you can grab the Mayhem pack for the game's sequel Worms 2 Armageddon that adds a bunch of new content to the base game. Next up, we have one of the Xbox Live Arcade's biggest darlings, and that is Splosion Man. Sure, the game is backwards compatible, but you'd be a ruddy fool not to grab its DLC now, as not only does Splosion Man's DLC add a new platforming, explosively good level to the game, but also is a prologue to the game's sequel, Splosion Man. If you're a 360 or nothing kind of guy, well, you may want to shuffle your way over to the Resident Evil Revelations 2 DLC, known as the Compatibility Pack. That allows you to play the game's raid mode, as well as gifting you a wealth of costumes and characters to play around with. It's not essential, but it's free, so you might as well. But if that's not enough of a challenge for you, well then Moondiver's old school Strider-esque hacking and slashing retro feeling awesomeness may slice and dice that pickle of yours, and if you've got the cojones to complete the main game, well then maybe the extra challenge of the chain kill mode will truly put your skills to test, and even better, again, it's absolutely free.
Wow.
N+ may be simple at first ruddy glance, but while this little gem strips back platforming back to the bare basics of moving, jumping and collecting, N+ is anything but a breeze, as later stages will truly test your reaction speeds. It's well worth the price of admission, and the inclusion of a level editor means N+ has endless replayability. But if you can't be asked to make your own levels, well then you can download the game's level packs instead. But while level packs 1 and 2 will set you back a few quid, level pack 3 however is absolutely free and adds over 200 new levels to the base game single player and multiplayer modes.
Maybe I too could be ninja.
I've never fancied meticulously building, crafting, and upkeeping a space station, so Outpost Kaloki X never really appealed to me. But if it sounds like your cup of tea, well then good news, as you can download 3 new scenarios that will cost you zilch. The Swarm scenario has you defending your outpost against a horde of alien robots. Then if you want, you can become a bounty hunter with the Bounty Hunter scenario. And lastly, the Fireworks scenario lets you direct an explosive display for a superstar fish. Yeah, you heard that right.
Okay.
I could never fully get invested with Life is Strange. I'm not sure why, but I just couldn't. But I do know a ton of people absolutely fecking love the series, so if you're one of them, well, you can get the Director's Commentary DLC if you see fit to do so.
Okay.
Coming from the same developer as Splosion Man, Loco Cycle sees you playing as a sentient Knight Rider-esque motorbike who just so happens to be dragging a helpless mechanic behind it. Gameplay is a mix of shooting and combat, but can be a bit repetitive, yet the game still has enough humour and charm to gloss over its flaws. The DLC though is kinda pointless for this one, and only contains some art assets and videos that could not be included at launch, but it's still free, so why not?
After all, why not?
Right. 4 games I've yet to play are Full House Poker, Might and Magic Clash of Heroes, Magic 2015, and Guilty Gear XX Accent Plus Core. But as they all have free DLC, I best give them a shout out. Full House Poker's downloadable content adds the game mode Texas Heat if you're into that kind of jazz. Might and Magic Clash of Heroes DLC, known as Advanced Opponents, adds 4 new bosses and all new spells. Magic 2015 has a DLC called Garrick's Revenge that includes a new character, new levels, and many more cards to collect. Guilty Gear XXAC has a free DLC pack that fine balances and tunes its combat, but probably just nerfs your favourite character. Okay, back to the stuff I know. I was pretty excited for Monday Night Combat upon its release, and well, I wasn't disappointed once I got my hands on it, as it was unlike anything available out there at the time. But unfortunately, the game's online player base seemed to dwindle out pretty fast, so I quickly lost interest. But the game does have some DLC, so if you can get a match together, you may want to invest none of your money into downloading the Spunky Cola DLC that adds a bunch of new modes to the game.
Oh my God!
I grew up a Nintendo child, then fell in love with the Xbox, so other than my cousin Johnny showing me that you could lock your butler in a freezer in Tomb Raider, I never really understood the hype surrounding the titles. Well, I understand 2 of the hypes, but that's just me being a pixel perv. Anyway, back on track. The first actual Tomb Raider game this bearded, beer-chugging twat purchased was Tomb Raider and the Guardian of Light, which is a fantastic puzzle and running and gunning tomb raiding shenanigan-based experience, especially in its co-op mode. So if you don't fancy playing as the busty legend known as Mrs. Croft, or the Mayan warrior known as Totec, well then you can play as Kane and Lynch instead by grabbing yourself the character pack that'll replace the main characters with IO Interactive's worst criminals. Mad Bull's Nano Invasion is a top-down shooter based on an old 1980s toy line. Some peeps hate it, and others love it, but I gotta say Mad Bull's does have its strengths and the base game is packed with content, but overall the game just becomes too repetitive too quickly in my opinion, so it's best played in short bursts. But there is some free DLC to grab in the form of a character skin known as Obsidian Magmore.
What? It's Obsidian now. Obsidian? Yeah.
And lastly, we have the excellent Hydro Thunder Hurricane, an absolute hidden gem of a game that takes arcadey boat racing to the extreme. If you haven't purchased this one yet, well, I urge you to do so, and while you're at it, be sure to grab its free, multiplayer-focused DLC, the Tempest Pack, that adds in a boatload of content to the game's online and local multiplayer offering.
Time to get the fuck out of here.
Right, and that's your lot. If I missed any region-specific free DLC, then well, let me know down in the comments below. I'm gonna start researching the free DLC that's available for physical games and be back as soon as possible. So, don't dilly-dally and be sure to like the video and subscribe if you're new here. But, more importantly, you guys stay tipsy.